Right, hopefully the audio's through now. Let's have a little look. The audio's through now. Let's have a little look. Can I zoom out a little bit here? That's better. Can I zoom out a little bit here? That's better. Just need to zoom out a little bit more. Just need to zoom out a little bit more. Right, welcome along to another test paint along. This is day 2 of doing this. This is the where is the painting that we're working on? Let's have a little look. These are the guys at Mr Swainstons. Don't know if you can see that all right there. This is a traditional sweet shop in South Shields, and I met these guys the other week, and we discussed having a little portrait commission done. A little picture of their shop. So I got them outside to pose, and this is what we're going to be doing. So the picture's already been penciled in on watercolour paper, so now it's just a case of inking this in. So I'm using traditional drawing ink, which is waterproof, and that is so that we can put a wash over the top of it, and a traditional pen, dip pen, which I've had for many years. Right, let's get started. Now then, the first thing is I need to just adjust this a little bit. Let's just get this set up a little bit better. Right, hopefully that's still visible. I'll move it. I'm watching live stream myself so I can see. Right, let's just get started. I don't know if I'm going to be able to talk through this very much. But we'll give it a go. Luckily, while I'm doing these test runs, no one is really watching them, so it takes the pressure off. But they're a good little practice run, just for getting used to doing these live demonstrations, because apparently This is way forward. This is what everyone wants. Social media. If you watched yesterday's live stream, I was explaining that my name is Kenton Duffield. I'm an artist in Northumberland, in the United Kingdom, and I've been painting and selling my work for over 20 years. However, circumstances have changed somewhat over the last few years, and it's meant that I can now start to give a lot more time to promoting my work a bit more. Because before that, I used to just rely on word of mouth. I would maybe pick up a number of commissions through the year, and that would always just be enough to keep things going. But now I'm trying to reach a wider audience, and this apparently is the way forward. So yesterday I did an acrylic painting on plywood. This is something a bit different. I'm not getting too bogged down with, so I'm not getting bogged down with the details here. What I like about these pen and ink drawings is that I'm deliberately creating a nice wavy line, so it's got that nice hand-drawn feel to it. I'm not going to use a ruler or anything like that. It's not a technical drawing. So this shop, from what I know, my information could be a little bit muddled. This is a little shop in South Shields, which is in Tyneside, which is not far from me. And we went past here about a few weeks ago, with my granddaughter, popped in, and these two guys have just set up the shop about, I don't know, 6 months ago, something like that. And apparently in South Shields there used to be a shop called Mr Swainstons, and these guys have resurrected the business. What I haven't showed is I have a very light pencil drawing underneath here, and that's what I'm working to. Pencil drawing has got quite straight lines on it, but like I've just said before, I don't want to keep those in. Obviously I'm working from top to bottom because my hand is going to get in the way and it's going to start smudging the ink. Ink doesn't take long for it to dry, but it's always a good idea just to keep your hands out of the way a little bit. I could use a fine liner on these, like a little micro tip felt pen, but I prefer to do it with the pen and ink because it just gives a nice feel, I think. These are the little brick supports for the gutter. It's a traditional way in England of holding the gutters up. When I'm putting in roofs and stuff, and brickwork and tiles, I'm 100% not going to start drawing every single one in. It's just to give the impression, and then when the drawing gets coloured at the end, this shop is actually sandwiched. It's a terraced premises, and it's sandwiched between two other buildings. But with this style of architecture, I prefer to isolate the building, not draw the buildings either side, so it just makes it look like a little standalone. Right. Although I don't mind the odd wavy line, I do like to try and keep the gutters and some of the main lines fairly straight. Let's just get that in there. I need to check the live stream just to make sure my big head's not in the way. The big ears are in the way, but there you go. Not sure what that bit is there. I have got a reference photo, but because I've already drawn this a number of times, I've had to. The original picture that I took wasn't ideal, so I used Google Maps or Google Earth to get a picture of this, and it was not correctly orientated, wasn't straight on. So what I've done is I've worked on it on the iPad. I'll probably put another video showing the process of that on another video, and that just helped me get this slightly wonky image from Google Maps into something that I can work on. But when it comes to the inking, like I say, I've already worked on this, so I kind of remember where everything went. When it comes to the inking, I'll probably revert to the picture just to have a little look. And I would say, if you're in here for the long haul, this is probably going to be around about 2 hours long, something along those lines. I've put a few bricks in just to give me an idea of the scale of those bricks. But like I say, I don't want to put every single brick in. That was a nice little bit there, just a tiny bit of detritus in the gutter just above the shop there. Now, I've put the writing in, but the writing on the shop I think is like in gold, so that is not going to come out nicely with the watercolour wash when I come to do that. So I'm probably going to use a gold pen. Seems to be going through the ink. The ink and the nib seems to be going through quite a bit at the minute. Yeah, so these live streams is a new direction for me. Currently while I'm filming this, it's February in the United Kingdom at the minute. You probably can't hear it because I've got headphones in, and that's how I'm recording this audio, but we've got the rain coming down. It's pretty cold. So, since in the UK we seem to have 6 months of winter, 3 months of spring, and then if we're lucky, a little spot there, that's not going to be a problem. I can disguise that. This is part of the thing that you get with working with ink. Sometimes it throws a little curved ball in, not a problem. This was the flash around the edge of the other shop. Like I say, you've got to be very mindful when working with this. Just take your time, work slowly and methodically. There's some lights coming down here, so I can disguise that when I do the inking. Obviously I'm going to struggle to put in, I can't use a whitewash or Tipex, but there's always some way of getting rid of it. I'm just going to put a little bit more detail around these windows. I'm not sure if this was actually how they looked. Just checking my messages. Got a delivery, 1 o'clock. I might take a bit of a break in this in the middle. One of the advantages of doing these live streams is not necessarily for the high view count while I'm actually doing them, but over time it'll build up the library of recorded progress. I don't know if there was any curtains up there, but let's just stick some curtains in here. I think it looks nice. If this was a little Victorian shop, it would have some curtains at the top. I'll come back to them in a minute. Right. I think I better just put in some of the detail of this Swainstons shop logo because it is quite detailed and I've copied it fairly accurately. And by the time I put the dark brown wash over the top of it, I might lose the pencil marks on here. So I think it's probably a good idea just to put a few reference marks in, not inking the whole thing. Like I said, most of this is all going to be covered up because I'm going to be going over this definitely in gold, and there's also gold there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that bit there. Apparently, I've got 2 viewers. One of them is me. Got a rough idea who the other one might be. My screen keeps going off here. I've got no idea. I think the way to promote these live streams is you announce on social media that you're going to be going live at a certain time, and then hope that people tune in. Like I say, I'm not particularly bothered. I'm just using this as a way of getting some hours in, getting used to talking, because painting is quite a solitary and meditative process. It's not something I would normally talk all the way through and explain what I'm doing. Annoyingly, my screen keeps going off, so I'm not sure whether my big head is in the way, or just the big ears, big old man ears. I think I did a speed painting, or a time-lapse painting, on YouTube about 12 years ago. That shows how little attention I've spent on creating content and recording stuff. Just had a message through from Mr. Paul Adams, who is also a creator of videos. Paul makes reclaimed wood into things of beauty. Paul, if you're listening to this now, don't feel obliged to sit and watch this crap. It was just to see whether it was working. You've got work to do, mate. But it's just to see if the setup's working all right. You can see what's happening. This is going nicely. I'm pleased with this. Let's get this shop window in here. I've got the music on the background. I don't know if that's coming through on the microphone. I've actually invested in a bit of equipment to try and get the camera up above, looking down when I'm working on these sort of things. Right, now because I'm working, this is going to be inside the shop, so this is looking through the window. I'm going to deliberately leave these lines a little bit sketchy. There's a old gramophone there. So I think that's quite a nice detail to make sure that I get in. Right, that's the back of the shop there. I'm deliberately not bringing these lines down in here because I want to be working on these. Right, let's see if we can rescue this. So luckily there's some lights. Let's put another one in. Whether there was one or not, I'm not sure. And then there were some shells in the back there. This is going to be quite a tedious process, putting every single jar of sweets on there. Right. Let's have a little look and see what's going on here. Yeah, it's a really miserable day out there today, so it's a nice thing to be inside in the warm. Although I'm looking forward to getting out into the Northumberland countryside and start painting outdoors as soon as the weather starts to improve. Is just working on. Now I need to put this in because this is definitely a little detail that needs to stay. I think I want to look at the reference picture again. I think this little fella, this is the little Mr Swainstons logo. I think he is probably going to be in gold. Right, this is in the shop window. These are all the jars of traditional sweets that you would find in a traditional English sweet shop. I'm assuming that it's only England that has these sort of sweet shops. This is what I keep checking my finger for, little bits of ink. Right, do I need to move this camera just to get the bottom detail in? Let me have a little look. Or maybe if I can just move, I've just bumped the camera. If I move this up, that should hopefully get everything in. Right, let's get these in. So, because I'm leaving this logo here, I'm not going to take the lines all the way up. I'm just going to just get a few details in. If I put the bottom of the shelf in, and then the jar, all the jars are identical. Don't need to draw every single line, as that will give the perfect idea of what we're working with. The eye will fill in the details, and these were all brightly coloured with a variety of old-fashioned sweets. So, glass bottle, lid, glass lid, glass lid, and the bottom of the shelf. Put that in there. Another one here. Right, we don't want to start fighting with the ink work over the logo because that's one of the main features. Apparently, according to the live stream, we've got 3 watches here. What I need to start doing is maybe announcing these on, I don't know, Reddit or something, I'm an old man. I don't know what all the sites are. All I know is I love painting and drawing, and I know people like to buy me stuff from time to time, and if I can produce a little bit of, I don't know, education, entertainment while I'm producing these pieces of art, then it's a win-win. I'm not doing it just for the content. This is actually a piece of art that I've got to produce. The nice thing about doing this is because it's a pen and ink, I really can't rush this. So this might be extremely tedious to watch. However, once the video is finished and uploaded, then anyone who watches it in the future can just scrub through and watch the bits that are maybe of interest. Maybe skip this bit. Me, myself, I sometimes watch these kind of videos where someone's chatting about what they're doing and the process involved. That looks like a pie, and it isn't a pie, it's a glass jar. I've got another little trick up my sleeve later on, which I'm going to probably use just to give some reflections. When I took this picture, it was actually in the evening, so there was a nice glow in the shop. And I might try and get that. So this is tiny. Sweets. I better look at that picture and see what that actually says, because I can't read that. Let's have a little look. I haven't used the reference picture whatsoever for this. All right, good job I checked there. It actually says Sweet Emporium on there. Sweet Emporium. Scroll across there. So obviously there's jars of sweets behind here, but I'm not going to put those in because they're going to start competing with the line work. So we just need to get enough in. This was a little thing that looked again like a pie dish. I think it was a selection of Turkish delights or something. Can you say Turkish delight these days? It's Turkey. I don't know. Turkey's not. It's not called Turkey anymore. It's pronounced slightly differently, which is absolutely fine. But it's probably taken a long time for all the British people to start referring to it as something else. It's a bit like Mount Snowdon in Wales. I believe they're starting to try and refer to that as the traditional Gaelic. Right, that was extremely tedious. Let's put some more little lines in here. So this is just going to help to create some depth in there. Right, I can go back to this line work over the shop door. These are a lot of signs on here. I'm gonna have to. I just put the basic shapes in, and I can't remember what was actually written on them, so I'm gonna have to use a photograph as a reference for that as well. So if you're watching this live, I'm not going to apologise for it being a bit of a slow process. It is what it is. It's got a kind of, it's not a fast thing. Like I say, I like watching things like this. I like watching other people's techniques and hearing them talk about what they're doing. I think these were bricks in here. I don't want to get too bogged down with this. Got a little sign here. It looks like a fish. I'll have to look and see what that was. This sign there. Let's put this in the bottom. I might put a cat in there. Let's put a cat in. I just think it looked good. Just adds a little touch. No one can see that cat that I've just put in. Let me just move that up there. I don't know why I put that in. Just felt it needed a little something, a little quirky something on the bottom. Right, so we're coming up with the guys now. That's good. I've moved the camera now. People can see this getting inked in here. I'm just going to fill in the rest of this doorway. I've got to be a bit careful because I'm going to be working on the guys who own this shop. When I walked into this shop, they were in the middle of doing a TikTok live stream, and that's how I kind of got chatting to them, because they were explaining how big TikTok was for their business. Right, let's start getting some details in here. This guy, when I was doing the initial drawing, doesn't have any ears. Right. This whole head here is probably 9mm, something like that. So it's never going to be in the portrait gallery. It's just a few ink marks. But and the other thing, which I might be able to show, is from the original picture, I've changed the position because it just was standing a little bit awkwardly, I felt, and I just thought we needed to change things a little bit. And this is always the beauty of, well, I suppose you can do it with Photoshop and stuff, but I felt he needed to have his hands on his hips, so his hands in his waistcoat pocket. And then this guy, I wanted to have him with his hands in his pocket. Right, that'll do for there. So obviously I've penciled this in first, but I do then enjoy just letting my own creativity start to show through. And I've drawn a million pairs of shoes over the years, and a million pairs of trousers. I know what they look like. The guys were actually wearing Crocs, and I kind of thought they looked a little bit like clogs, which I think would be quite an apt item of clothing for a couple of Victorian gentlemen. That's good. Right, now this guy has got he had quite a distinctive look. Big tall guy. So I need to get him in. He had his hair parted in the middle. His eyebrows there. Cool. Right. Stop there before I put too much in. To anyone who's watching this live, just a little bit of an explanation. What I'm doing is I'm trialing some live streams just to try and grow my audience to a wider audience of what I do. So these first few streams have just started with one yesterday. So these first ones kind of just tests. But if you're watching this from wherever you are, don't be shy. Jump on the chat. Just say hello. Or give us a thumbs up or something. Be interested to know who stumbled across this. I do have a number of subscribers on YouTube, on the YouTube channel. But to be honest, I've had a YouTube channel for many years, and you might be subscribing to me for completely different. I used to make music. I used to put a lot of music related stuff on this channel. So if you're still there from one of those subscriptions, you might be wondering what the hell's going on. Right, he needs a shirt. Hopefully. Sorry, my shoulder was in the way there, but again, I'm going to take this door frame down into there, all the way down. Let's take that right way down there. And there's the door behind them. Right. This is not a drawing, so what I'm going to do in the end is I'm going to put some white pen across the top. Let's just get a few more details in here. Let's put a little bird on the top of here as well, I think. I can see people coming and going on here. I don't know. Paul, are you still listening? people are coming and going, and they must be stumbling across this and thinking, what is this crap? But you know what? It's all about getting the hours in. It's like driving a car. Don't jump in the car and then go straight for your driving test. You've got to put in the practice. Right, we need a few more bricks on this side. This is all pretty much dried off now. Right, I'm really just freehanding these bricks in. These are going to be nice and wobbly. I've always been a big fan of Quentin Blake, the artist who used to illustrate a lot of Roald Dahl's books. And his technique was always to do a quick pencil sketch and then ink over the top using a light box. Let's not make this too repetitive. Let's add a few little extra bits in. I've just put a little cat in there. I don't know why. That little cat's looking at that little cat and that little bird at the top. Cool. Right, have we got enough bits and pieces in here? There's another sign there. Right, that'll do. I need to go and clean this ink pen and I need to let this dry for about 10 minutes. I can speed the process up. I'm quite pleased with that. Let's see if we can get that into shot a little bit better. I'm just going to rinse this ink pen out because once that dries in the nib, it's a nightmare to clean off. Excuse me, hiccuping. Put that back across there. That's the drawing all inked in. So we've still got wet ink up there, wet ink here, wet ink there. But the next process will be to bring that down a little bit. The next process will be to get this all washed in, which doesn't take too long. So I'm just going to leave this live stream running. I think you can scrub, if you're just joining it and finding it halfway through, you can scrub through and watch what's been going on. I'm just going to literally leave this running and I'll be back in a minute. Let that dry. I'm going to have a cup of tea and we'll pick it up from there. I'm going to take the headphones out and catch it on the other side. Thanks for watching so far. I'm still here. I've got someone monitoring this because, like I say, this is just my second live broadcast, and I've got a mate of mine watching who suggested that we finish this video here. So this is the inking process, and then I'm going to have a quick break, let everything dry, and then I'll start another one in half an hour or so, just showing the wash technique. And if anyone stumbles across this in the future, you can easily find the video. I'll mark this part 1 and then I'll do part 2. It'll be called Mr Swainstons part 1 and then part 2 will be the colouring. Okie doke. Thanks for watching so far. Let's end this now.